What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. This is Zheng, coach and entrepreneur. Welcome to Daily Wisdom. And we are unpacking 10, 15 minutes of wisdom principles to help you achieve more in your lives, your businesses, wherever it is that you want to be at. And we're actually going through a series on how to achieve what we call a quantum leap in this next year. And quantum leap means getting results that are just miraculous to you, getting results that are just like mind-blowing to you. And there's a science to do this. In fact, there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. Might be a good read, a fun read for you to take a look. It's by Wallace Wattles. It's like 100 pages. Very powerful, very impactful. It's actually the book that The Secret, if you know that hit movie, was based off of, The Science of Getting Rich. However, we're going through some principles on that. And if you're interested in that, then share this, like this, and you can join us in our Zoom room too. Every morning, we have a live group here. We got Marla, Pam, Julie, Diane, Annette, my wife, Angie here as well too. And we'd love to see you guys. Ask anybody here for the link, and you're more than welcome to join. But I want to highlight the subconscious mind today. Because if we want to achieve a quantum leap in life, then we have to do things differently. Right? That's kind of obvious. If we keep on doing what we're doing, we're going to keep on getting what we're getting. And this is how most of us, especially for me, I grew up in the school system. I grew up as in a job mindset, meaning this is how we typically think about achieving success in our life. If I do this and this and this, after this much time, I can achieve this. It's 1 + 1 = 2 by addition. A quantum leap deals with different math, though. A quantum leap is exponential. It's 1 + 1 = 11. 1 + 1 = 100. It means the same actions yield greater results. So we have to look at things differently. You see, this is how the world teaches us to do things. Learn a bunch of stuff called quote unquote education, do a bunch of stuff with what you learned called the job, make some money, hopefully, after taxes, save it, hopefully, for retirement, and then you scrape by and you pay off your debt, and boom, you're supposed to have financial success if we're just talking about money, right? But there's a different way of doing things. And that is, if we understand how the mind works, then you can actually start to implement these principles in your life. And it's so huge. Bob Proctor, one of the best mentors or mindset, says this, that thinking is the biggest thing that most people do not do. Most people think they think, but if you just heard them talking, you can tell they're not thinking. Who here has ever been around someone that you knew weren't thinking at that moment? Put a 1 in the chat. If you're like, dang, if they were thinking about what they were talking about right now or how they're acting, they would not be thinking or acting that way, right? And most of us, honestly, have many of those times ourselves as well too. So my challenge in this dialogue is to start having you think about what you think about. So let's talk about the subconscious mind. Why is this so important? Our mind has 2 parts to it. There's a conscious, there's a subconscious. If you don't know how this works, then you cannot fix it. Why is this important to fix? Here's a couple stats if you're jotting things down. Did you know that we think 60,000 thoughts a day? 60, okay? And if you would agree that your thinking has something to do with your results in life, however your level of understanding is this, right? That you know that there's an important link between what you think about and what you do. Like, it's kind of logical. If you think that you're going to do well, you tend to do better. If you think you're not going to do well, you tend to not do well, right? We were looking at, did anyone watch the World Cup, or at least the final? I'm not a huge soccer or football fan, but I watched the final at least. Argentina versus France. And if you're a big football fan or soccer fan, man, that was an epic game. If you're not into soccer, I'd even encourage you just to watch the last portion of that on replay or something. Wow, it was amazing. And Argentina won, if you know. And Messi is the big star, and he ended his career with a World Cup win, which is awesome. However, I'm pretty sure Messi, who's the the main soccer player for Argentina. And that team, I'm pretty sure they didn't go into the game saying, you know what, we're going to just try our best and maybe we'll win. And that's not champion things. That's not winner things. They think we won. It's already done, right? So there's definitely a link between how you think and what you do. However, here's the important distinction, because I think we are aware of these things, and most of us intend to do well in life. I mean, you wouldn't be on a call like this, a conversation like this, if you weren't interested in more success in your life. You want to do well. But if you're anything like me, there's been many times in your life that you meant to do well, and yet the results still did not pan out the way that you wanted them to. And you sit there scratching your head thinking, what went wrong? Here's the difference. There's a conscious mind, there's a subconscious mind. We think 60,000 thoughts a day, and over 95% of our thoughts are subconscious thoughts. Did you know that most of our thinking is the exact same today as it was yesterday? So if thinking leads to actions and actions lead to results, if 95% of our thinking is the same as it was yesterday, as much as you try to willfully think differently, you can all day long think, I'm succeeding, I'm winning, I'm making more, I'm doing more. You are still on an uphill battle against what's called your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind has no ability to think. The subconscious mind are those set of habits and beliefs and ideas that are locked up in you. And those are the things that actually yield and lead to the results that we either want or don't want in our lives. So if you start to understand this, you can start to understand the problem that we face. Because you can think that you want to do better, and you can put all the effort that you want to do with your conscious mind. The conscious mind is your thinking mind. The conscious mind is where you can make decisions. The conscious mind is the one that can accept thoughts or reject thoughts. It's important to have. The conscious mind becomes a gateway for the subconscious. So if we understand the battle, and that's why we say that success is 95% mindset and 5% skill sets. The actions are not hard. If you have the right thinking, then life becomes easy. If you have the wrong thinking, then you're going to try to force your way to success. So you have to understand that the subconscious mind is the thing that is the problem, and we have to learn how to reprogram this thing. Put a 2 in the chat if it is resonating so far. You cannot win a battle if you don't know who the enemy is. Right? You cannot win a battle if you don't know who the enemy is. So what's our goal in a quantum leap? Our goal is to understand the subconscious mind and to reprogram it. And when you successfully reprogram your subconscious mind, and every single one of us, I want to tell you this, has done this successfully in your life, whether you're aware of it or not. I want you to think about a time in your life when you were facing some type of problem or challenge or want that you had that seemed impossible. And yet, it just figured itself out. It's like you got the right ideas at the right time. It's kind of like you felt like God was just leading you. It's just like, oh my gosh, like what's going on here? And you're like, that was a miracle. And it is. But there's a science to how this all works. And what if you could actually learn how to have this science work for you rather than against you? That is when you achieve quantum leaps in your life. Okay. So let me end this with a couple statements today. How do you reprogram your subconscious mind so that it's working for you, not against you? 2 ways. Number 1, a strong emotional impact. And unfortunately, and many times in our lives, we reprogram our subconscious due to trauma and negative things, a heartbreak, a death, failure, bankruptcy, financial disaster. We've all been there. And that's why you see, as we quote unquote grow up, we start dreaming less, don't we? We start fearing more. We start thinking about the risk. When we were young and wild and free, you're free to dream. My mentors used to say this, at least with guys, some ladies, they do this as well too. If you're into cars, they would say that think about a little boy or anyone that's into cars. If they have a poster on their wall When they're a little boy, they put up Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Bugattis. And then they get into high school and they kind of downgrade that, right? They're like, Bugatti. I'm just going to get like a nice car, like a BMW, a Lexus, those are pretty cool. And then you get into your adult years, you know what happens? The car goes from that to be like, I'm just going to get a Honda Odyssey. I'm going to go get a Japanese car, drive it till it dies. Have you noticed that? Our car wants downgrade typically over the course of time because we tend to get emotionally impacted and traumatized in negative ways, and that reprograms our subconscious to stop thinking and dreaming. I want to challenge you to dream differently today, because it can also be a positive emotional impact. Number one. Now, those come short and few. I don't want to bank on that, right? But here's another way. And that's the purpose of these daily wisdoms and going through this process. The second way is something you can control to reprogram the subconscious mind. The second way is constant spaced repetition. Constant spaced repetition. It's the way that you memorize stuff back in the day in college. Remember those days, or in school when you had to cram for an essay or a test and you became an instant genius? You're like, oh, I got all that. Then boom, you put that paper out of nothing. You're like, wow, piece of art. And then you forget it all afterwards, don't you? Or how you memorize something. Constant, meaning over and over and over and over again. Spaced, meaning over the course of time. Repetition. You keep on thinking the new thought. You keep on understanding the new thing. You keep on thinking the right way. And what starts to happen consciously is it then starts to reprogram your subconscious. And one day you wake up, you're like, I think and feel and now act differently. And Bob Proctor always says that it takes at least 30 days of intentional effort to reprogram this. So if you want a quantum leap for your life, what do you start to repeat? Start to every day, repeat the goal that you want. Yesterday, we talked about it, right? Angie, I know, was talking about putting it. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am achieving whatever that it is. Every day, repeat this. Every day, write it down. Every day, think about this. Every day, imagine that it's done. You do this over the course of 30 days. You can literally convince your mind that what is quote unquote not real or only in the mind is real. And you literally reprogram your subconscious mind. Powerful stuff. Don't challenge you to do that. All right, everybody. So other than that, just want to bring you some awareness to that today. We'll continue to unpack these principles and everything. But my commitment is that this year is the year of a quantum leap. And if you are interested in stuff like that, follow this, take a look at this, subscribe to our YouTube. We're going to go through these types of things as well, too. And if you want further assistance as well, there's actually training programs on this. There's coaching programs on this. I coach people on this stuff all the time, whether within our team or outside of our team. If you're interested in that type of stuff, there's some juicy stuff that's out there. Feel free to reach out to us about that. But other than that, everybody, let's have quantum leaps. Have a great rest of your day. We will talk with you soon and have a great